Krishna is worshipped as God by over 1 billion people. But the story of his life reads like the darkest, most complex thriller ever written. He was born in a prison cell while a prophecy marked him for death. He was smuggled out as a newborn through a miraculously parting river. He killed his first demon before he could walk, and by the end of his life, he watched his entire clan destroy itself in a drunken civil war, his city sink beneath the ocean, and he died alone in a forest, shot in the foot by a hunter who mistook him for a deer. This is not how gods are supposed to die. Let me tell you the real story of Krishna. King Kamsa of Mathura was a tyrant, but he was not always one. He loved his sister Devaki. On the day of her wedding to Vasudeva, Kamsa was so happy that he personally drove their chariot. Then a voice from the sky spoke, "Devaki's 8th child will kill you." Kamsa's love evaporated instantly. He drew his sword to kill his sister right there. Vasudeva begged and bargained. He promised to hand over every child as soon as it was born. Kamsa agreed and threw them both in prison. One by one, Devaki gave birth to 6 children. One by one, Kamsa smashed each newborn against the prison floor. 6 babies murdered by their uncle in front of their mother. The 7th child, Balaram, was mystically transferred to another womb, and the 8th, Krishna, was born at midnight during a thunderstorm. The moment Krishna was born, the prison guards fell asleep. The chains fell off Vasudeva's hands. The prison doors opened by themselves. Vasudeva placed his newborn in a basket on his head and walked out through the storm toward the river Yamuna. The river was in flood, raging and impassable. But when the water touched Krishna's feet, it parted. On the other side, in the village of Gokul, Vasudeva swapped Krishna with the newborn daughter of Nanda and Yashoda, then returned to the prison before anyone woke. When Kamsa came for the 8th child and grabbed the baby girl to kill her, she slipped from his hands, flew into the sky, transformed into the goddess Yogamaya, and told him that his destroyer had already been born. Kamsa went berserk. He ordered every newborn in the kingdom killed. Death squads went house to house. This is the world Krishna was born into. Krishna grew up in Vrindavan as a cowherd's son, and even as a child, he was impossible. He killed the demoness Putana, who tried to nurse him with poisoned milk, by sucking the life out of her. He was a baby. He killed Trinavarta, a demon disguised as a whirlwind, by grabbing the demon's throat while being spun through the air. He was a toddler. He killed the serpent Kaliya by dancing on its multiple heads in the middle of a poisoned river. He lifted the entire mountain Govardhan on his little finger and held it up for 7 days to shelter his village from a storm Indra had sent in rage. He was a child playing God, or a god playing child. Nobody in Vrindavan could figure out which. But Krishna was not just power. He was love. The gopis, the milkmaids of Vrindavan, were devoted to him with a love so intense that it became the model for all devotional love in Hinduism. When Krishna played his flute at night on the banks of the Yamuna, every gopi left her home, her husband, her duties, and ran to him. Krishna multiplied himself so that each gopi danced with her own Krishna, each believing she was the only one. The Rasa Leela, the divine dance, is one of the most beautiful and most analyzed scenes in all of religious literature. As an adult, Krishna killed Kamsa by dragging him off his throne and breaking his neck in front of the entire court. He then freed his parents from prison. But he never became king of Mathura. He moved his people to Dwarka, a golden city built on the western coast, and served as a counselor and strategist rather than a monarch. In the Mahabharata, Krishna was the ultimate chess player. He chose to be Arjuna's charioteer rather than command an army. He delivered the Bhagavad Gita. He engineered the deaths of Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and Duryodhana through strategies that were technically legal but morally gray. He played by the rules of Dharma while bending them to the breaking point. And then came the end. After the Great War, Krishna returned to Dwarka. 36 years later, a curse from Gandhari, who blamed Krishna for not preventing the war that killed all her sons, came true. The Yadava clan, Krishna's own people, descended into a drunken brawl. They killed each other with clubs made from iron that had grown from a cursed iron pestle. Every last one of them. Balaram, Krishna's brother, sat under a tree, entered meditation, and died. A white serpent emerged from his mouth and returned to the cosmic ocean. Krishna walked into a forest alone. He sat beneath a tree, and a hunter named Jara, seeing Krishna's foot from a distance, mistook it for a deer and shot an arrow. It struck Krishna in the sole of his foot, his only vulnerable spot, a weakness from a curse given by a queen whose son Krishna had killed in a past conflict. Krishna told the weeping hunter not to grieve. He had known this was coming. Then he left his body. Dwarka sank beneath the ocean. The age of heroes was over. The age of darkness, Kali Yuga, began. God did not die in glory. He died quietly, in a forest, from a hunter's stray arrow. Because that is how this universe works. Even God plays by the rules he sets for everyone else. Subscribe for more stories from the civilization that gave the world its most complex, most beautiful, and most